All right, let's talk about one of the biggest creative challenges out there. I mean, in a world that's always telling us to stand out and be different, we're going to dive right into the originality puzzle. So, what does it actually mean to be original? We hear it all the time, bring a fresh perspective, be original. But what does that really truly mean? And honestly, in a world that's just flooded with ideas, is it even possible anymore? I mean, think about it. You've got great organizations like Toastmasters International, and they're all about encouraging original content, which is awesome, right? But it also causes a whole lot of confusion. It's like the harder you try to pin down what original means, the more it just kind of slips away. Okay, so to start cracking this thing open, let's see if we can find some clues. We're going to look at a few great minds who, believe it or not, wrestled with this exact same puzzle. First up, let's talk about the German poet and philosopher, Goethe. Now, his take was that originality isn't some magic trick, pulling something out of thin air. Nope. He said it's really about being a brilliant assembler. It's about taking all these bits and pieces, ideas, things you've seen, experiences you've had, and putting them together in a way that nobody has ever done before. And then you've got James Joyce, who throws this little curveball into the mix that just deepens the whole mystery. He just says, imagination is memory. That's it. Basically, our most powerful creative tool, our imagination, is really just our memory, digging things up and shuffling them around. So, where does that leave us? It kind of feels like a tricky spot, doesn't it? If originality is just remixing old parts, and imagination is just memory playing back, are we all just walking, talking remix machines? Is real, pure originality even a thing? It's a total paradox. But hold on. Don't worry. There is a key that unlocks this whole puzzle. And to find it, we've got to turn to a philosopher who had this really powerful insight, an insight into what makes every single one of us completely unique. And that philosopher is Arthur Schopenhauer. He's sometimes called the artist's philosopher, and for good reason. His ideas give us this incredible new way to understand creativity and really our own unique spot in the universe. Okay, so Schopenhauer's big idea starts right here. He basically said that for any two things to be truly identical, they'd have to be in the exact same place at the exact same time, which, is impossible. So think about it. Even two identical apples aren't really identical. Why? Because one is here in this spot now, and the other might be in the same spot but later. That little difference in space and time, it changes everything. And then he takes this idea and applies it to how we know things, to knowledge itself. He said all knowledge needs two things: the thing you're looking at, the object, and the person doing the looking, the subject. And guess what? That subject, that's you. You are always, always part of the equation. And this is the absolute crucial point. You are the unique variable in all of this, right? Because no one else on the planet can be in your exact spot in the universe at this exact moment in time. Your perspective, the way you see the world, is fundamentally 100% unrepeatable. And that, right there, is the true source of your originality. Okay, that's a pretty powerful idea, right? But what do we do with it? How do we actually put that into practice? Well, let's break down how you can turn that totally unique perspective into your own personal style. So the path to finding your style, it really starts with just observing the world, gathering all those bits and pieces like Goethe was talking about. But then comes the most important step. You filter all of it through your unique experience. And that's when your imagination, what Joyce called memory, starts firing, making all these new connections. And finally, you express that combination. And that expression, that's what becomes your personal style. But let's get real for a second. Here's the reality check. When you first start putting a truly unique style out there, you might get some pushback. You might hear things like, that's not really how we do things around here. And this can happen anywhere, even in places like Toastmasters that say they want originality. And yeah, it can totally make you second guess yourself. But you have to remember, that resistance, it's just part of the process. The real key is how you deal with it. You've got to see that feedback for what it is, someone's opinion, not a fact. You need to filter it, take what's actually useful, the stuff that can help you level up your style, and just let the rest go. That's how your unique voice gets stronger and really starts to evolve. And listen, this is so, so important.
Originality is not a one-and-done thing. It's not about having one single brilliant idea out of nowhere. It is the process, the day-in, day-out work of developing, expressing, and polishing your personal style that eventually, over time, gets you recognized as original. All right, let's pull all these threads together now. We're going to reframe what originality really is, because it's way less about a label you're trying to earn and way more about the impact you can have. So if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Stop thinking of originality as some kind of product you have to create from scratch. Think of it instead as an energy that's generated by your completely unique perspective, an energy that you transmit out into the world. Yeah, every time you speak or write or create something, you're transmitting that energy. Now look, you can't control how other people are going to receive it, right? They've got their own filters, their own experiences, but the most important part isn't how they receive it. It's that you transmitted it. The act of sharing your unique viewpoint, that's what really counts. So just let go of that pressure. Seriously, stop worrying about whether someone's going to stick the original label on you. The real joy and the real work is in the process itself, the observing, the filtering, the expressing. If you just focus on developing your unique voice, originality will just happen. It'll be a natural byproduct.
So let's wrap this up by flipping the question on its head. Let's stop asking, am I original? And start asking something way more powerful, something way more important. What is the unique energy born from my unrepeatable experience that I am going to share with the world?